and today we're going to be looking at a deck I've picked up that I've not used yet. Infernoid. This is a banished deck. There isn't, as far as I'm aware, there's only like one or two normal summons in the deck, not one. But they banish from graveyard to summon depending on levels. So I'll have a look through. So from the extra deck, there's Evil, where it's free summon, you can banish an Infernoid monster from graveyard. Send Infernoid monsters with different aims to the deck to the graveyard equal to banished monsters level. If it's sent to graveyard banish, you can add a void spell and trap to hand. There's Link Monster Flood, which if your opponent special summons a monster, you contribute a monster to negate the summon and banish that monster. And if a card is banished from a graveyard, accepting notice, you can banish a card in the field. If it's destroyed, you can special summon an Infernoid monster from your deck, ignoring summoning conditions. So that's quite a useful card. Then we've got Infernoid Tiara, which needs two of the named monsters and plus one or more Infernoid monsters. So it's got effect on the number of feature materials with different names used for this card. 3 or more, each player sends 3 cards from extra deck to graveyard. 5 or more, each player sends top 3 cards from their decks to graveyard. 8 or more, each player returns up to 3 of their banished cards to the graveyard. And 10 or more, each player sends their entire hand to the graveyard. So it's useful at breaking your opponent's decks. Onto the main deck, we've got 2 copies of an Unchu. It's special summoned from hand or graveyard by banishing 3 Infernoid monsters from your hand or graveyard, while total levels and ranks of all effect monsters you control are 8 or lower. When it's special summoned, it destroys all of the monsters on the field, and it can contribute a monster to negate the activation of a spell or trap card and banish it. Then there's 2 Defiates. Oh, well, and that's one of the materials for the big fusion monster. The other one is, again, must be special summoned from your same effect for the summoning, but this time it destroys all spells and traps on the field except your own void ones. And when a monster effect is activated, you contribute a monster to negate and banish. Infernoid Petula. Level 4 again cannot same summoning effect. You can target a spell trap on the field to destroy it. Once return, this card cannot attack the turn that effect's activated. And you can once during your opponent's turn, you can contribute a monster to target a card in your opponent's graveyard to banish. Then there's 1 Setsamas. Right, that's banishing 2, but it's basically the same effect. At the end of the battle phase, if this card attacks an opponent's monster, you can banish a card on the field, and once per turn, as a quick effect, you contribute a monster to banish one from graveyard. Like the previous one, it needs 2 banish, but it's the same 8 or lower condition. And when it destroys an opponent's card by battle, sends it to graveyard, you can activate this, then makes a second attack. And once per turn, it does the tribute a monster to banish one from their graveyard. Like Infernoid Permas, it's a level 1, one of the few level, I think the only one in the deck. This one here only needs 1 Infernoid monster from banished from hand or graveyard for the same 8 or lower. Target a set card in the field to shuffle it into the deck. Neither player can activate that card in response to this card effect's activation. Once per opponent, and then just the graveyard banish. Really useful to remove something from the board. Again, Infernoid Antra, it does the 1. Banished, hand or graveyard. Target face-up monster your opponent controls to return it to hand. And it also do the banish as a quick effect, the from one from graveyard. Infernoid Armadic. One Infernoid monster. It can target monster in the field to destroy it. This card cannot attack the turn it uses that fact. And it does the tribute to destroy, to basically call by the grave. Then we have some spells and traps. So Void Banishment. Discard a card to add a Void spell trap, except Banishment, Null or Void. And you can't normal special summon monsters for the rest of the turn, except Infernoid. If an Infernoid monster you control battles an opponent's monster after damage count, you can set this card to the graveyard and banish those monsters. So there's 3 of those. 3 Imagination. Infernoid monsters you can. This is a continuous spell. Infernoid monsters you control whose original levels are 2 or higher become level 1, and all battle damage they inflict to your opponents is halved. So this card to the graveyard, different fusion summon an Infernoid fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as material. And if your opponent controls a monster that was special summoned from the extra deck and you do not can use up to 6 materials in your deck as fusion material. This is how you get round the one for the big boss. We've got 2 reignitions. Feel an Infernoid monster or Void spell or trap to discard your entire hand and then draw the same number of cards you discarded. And if you control no monsters or all monsters you control are fiend monsters, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from graveyard to target up to 11 of your banished monsters to return them to the graveyard. So you've got the grind game. Breach. Infernoid monsters you control gain 100 attack for each of your banished Infernoid monsters, and if you control no monsters or you control a fiend, you can activate either add one of your banished monsters to your hand, special summon one monster from your hand ignoring summoning conditions, and it's a once per turn. 1 for 1. Send a monster from your hand to the graveyard to special summon one level 1 monster from your hand or deck. Instant Fusion. Pay 1,000 to summon, level 5 or lower, so you'd be doing the first of the one of fusion monsters. What's it called? Evil. For its effect. The trap, Feast. Send a void spell trap from your hand or face up to the field to the graveyard to special summon up to 3 Infernoid monsters from deck, whose total levels exactly equal 8, ignoring summoning conditions. We've got a couple more monsters. Sajet, I'm not sure. It wants 2 Infernoids banished. You can banish a monster from when it declares an attack. You can banish a card from your opponent's extra deck, their choice, and it does the tribute card for the graveyard. Then Decatron. This is a 3-off. It's a tuner, and it's a level 1. Send one Infernoid, and it can be normal or special summoned. Add an Infernoid monster from deck or graveyard, except not Decatron. Increases the card's level by the level of the said monster. And this card's name becomes that monster's original name and gains its effect, so you can get extra copies of monsters of the other ones. Seems a fun deck to play. I do need to try it out at some point with something. It does lock you into Infernoids, but you could, because they are fire fiends, but you could probably run fiends with if you wanted, or I've seen people run it with the Crystal Beast instead of like the Snake Eyes Crystal Beast. You can run it in cards like decks like that, or you can run it pure. We do have some at my locals who does play Infernoids and does really well with it. So yeah, it's an interesting deck. So I need to try it out. If anyone's got anything that they've either played it or tried it with that works, feel free to comment. Well, that feel free to like, subscribe, comment, it really helps the channel out. And yeah, comment down below if you've used Infernoid and what you've done with them to you've put them with with different engines. I'll see you next time. Bye.